I was going to say we should probably talk about U.S. men's basketball at some point.
Right. Yes.
Um, Big day. They did have a their whole team. They were against Serbia. I've said before, I'm a Sixers fan. I'm a Joel Embiid fan. Joel did not have a very good day. Nikola Jokic got off to a great start, and it was one of those where, remember, the U.S. lost to France in their Olympics opener last time around, and
Right.
this was a day where it was like, oh man, they might do this again. But it helps when you have Kevin Durant on the bench because they just put him in, and he's healthy. Remember, he hadn't played any of the tune-up games and hadn't even practiced that much because of a calf injury, but he is the U.S. men's team's all-time leading scorer in Olympic play. That used to be Carmelo Anthony, and then Durant passed him in Tokyo. And he comes in, and both he and LeBron were perfect in the first half. I forget the
Yeah.
exact stats. I think Durant was 8 for 8, and 5 of them were 3-pointers, and he just like exploded. And then once that happened, the whole team sort of just like loosened up, and it was like, Drew Holiday started hitting threes, and like Steph Curry had a couple big shots, and they just have so much talent and depth. And I think the plus minus, I don't remember the exact stat, but I think they were like pretty close to even when Jokic was on the floor. But I
Mm.
think in the minutes when he was on the bench, the US just outscored him by enough that they won the game pretty comfortably in the end. But yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
it's funny,
Jokic
like,
was a zero plus minus. So yeah, literally it was
yeah,
even when they had Jokic on the floor, and then when he was out, that was the difference.
yeah.
Which makes sense.
So it's funny, like every game, the expectations for that team are so high that you can watch a 20-point game and be like, oh, there's a little bit to be concerned about. Like they weren't at their best for all 4 quarters. They are good enough that they don't have to be at their best for all 4 quarters to win a game, but you do worry about them getting bit at some point. But they just have so many talented players that it's like if someone's not having a day, you've got someone on the bench who can just come in. So yeah, I mean, it's a fun team to watch. I talked earlier about how there were individual events that I was locked into for their duration. And I feel like the U.S. men's basketball is just going to be one of those teams where I'm sure I'm going to watch close to every minute of their games, of all their games. But this was expected to be one of their biggest tests in pool play, maybe their biggest. So nice to see them pull away and have the fourth be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it was I was not surprised it was tight early on. Obviously, this is a new team getting together. They had their struggles in the exhibition. You're playing against Nikola Jokic, who is like among the best in the world, and just obviously, is going to be the focal point for Serbia. Um and yeah, they were able to pull away in the fourth, which made sense. Like you when you're a more talented team, you can wear down your opponent like that. You mentioned having the talent on the bench. The curious thing that will be something to watch going forward here is just how Steve Kerr manages the minutes. Like, nobody really played a ton of minutes here. LeBron played just shy of 27 minutes, but they got 10 of their 12 players in the game. The two who did not get in, one I'm not surprised by, Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's kind of like obviously an amazing player, but like among the other 12, he's probably the weak one there. I was a little surprised to see Jason Tatum not get in the game. Guy who just led the Celtics to an NBA championship. He just didn't get to see the floor, and cursed it after the game. Yeah, like it just coach's decision. It wasn't his day, but he'll have other days. So you'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the rotation starts to take shape as we move forward here.
Yeah, that was very interesting. And like Derek White, his Celtics teammate, did play and Tatum
Right.
didn't. It's all surprising. I will say my experience watching the game again is colored as an Embiid fan and a Sixers fan, but seeing Tatum not play, it was an interesting day for Sixers fans and Celtics haters. But yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure. I mean, Jason Tatum's too good to not play. It was very surprising that he played him 0 and he didn't get him. I understand not putting a guy in for garbage time when he hasn't played the whole game. Not that it was
Yes.
really like garbage time. They still had their starters out there, but it was a little weird he didn't just like find 4 or 5 minutes just to get Tatum on the floor just so that this didn't, because if Jason Tatum had played 5 minutes, you and I would not be talking about it. But the fact that he
No.
played 0 minutes, that's the reason it's coming up at all.